I'm gonna do the same thing. Okay. Okay. Please don't hate me. Please don't hate me. I'm doing a holiday look, and I don't know if it's necessarily gonna be like traditional, but I wanna use green. That was way too much of this, holy crap. I do wanna use green and red somehow. We're just gonna do it. We're just gonna start. I mean, I clearly have the majority of my complexion on. I did foundation, concealer. I'm like trying some different things with my base. So as far as like my complexion goes, if I end up liking it, you know that I will do an updated video. I know you love the complexion stuff. We're gonna focus on the eyes and then like obviously the finishing touches. So I'm gonna zoom you in. Okay, so I am going to prime my eyes with Urban Decay because I just haven't had time yet to pick up a new eyeshadow primer, but I did receive a lot of suggestions from you guys. Surprisingly, I don't know, a lot of them seemed like they might be kind of heavy. So we'll see. But yeah, I'm gonna use this just for today because I'm using eyeshadows that will basically blend over anything. I think I just got that in my hair. Oh, I got my hair done. No more skunk roots. Okay, so I'm gonna be using the majority of the brushes from my favorite set with Sigma. I saw some people make some comments about this box in my last video. If you don't know, I have a favorite set with Sigma. These are eye brushes as well as the Travel Sigma Switch. So we're gonna be using those products today. I already used my fave, the E80 spoolie brush to set my brows because it's fantastic. It's the best spoolie in the world. And you see this in literally every single video. So that is also included in the set, just so you know. Anyway, put this guy back here. Ugh. All my subliminal messaging with the zooms, you know what I mean? Okay, so I'm going to be using a couple palettes today. I'm actually gonna start off, I picked up a palette to start with, but I'm actually going to start off with my contour color. So I'm gonna be using this contour from Etude. This is the lightest one. It's number 1, I believe. I'm gonna be using this shade. Actually, yeah, I'm gonna use this shade just to start. And I'm actually going to be using, I'm gonna start off with Nikki LaRose's N13 brush from her BK Beauty collab. So I'm just gonna use my switch to buff this off because I haven't washed it since I last saw you. But in my defense, is that a freckle or is that a thing? It's a freckle. In my defense, it wasn't that long ago, so just give me a break. So I'm gonna dip into this. And I'm just gonna use this to add a little bit of a grounding shade just above my crease. So instead of taking, I'm not gonna take it into this area, I'm gonna focus it all here. Just to kind of like push back, just doing a little bit of contouring, a little bit of shaping before we start going into color. So I feel like I've talked about this a million times, but with my eye anatomy, because I have this large plane here and it's kind of light, you can see that like if it's just the same color as my lid, it tends to like look like it's coming down quite a bit. So just adding a little bit of a shadow up here, a little bit like of a darker color, just kind of pushes it back and makes my lid come forward a little more. It just makes this area look a little less like flat and saggy. Just remember that like your eye makeup doesn't have to be relegated to your lids, you know? So I'm just building that up very, very slowly. Kind of just want this to blend in with the rest of like the contour and color that's going on in the rest of my face. So just slowly going back and forth and building up that color. And then using my Sigma E33 brush, I'm going to pick up that same color and looking up at you guys. Well, I guess you would be there. So looking just above your head. I'm going to buff this just underneath my, this thing. My that thing. and connect it up. So again, just adding a little bit of contour to the eye before color. You know what? Let's start with a pop of color. So I'm going to use the NYX Epic Wear Liner Stick. This is in Emerald Cut, straight up green. Okay, I'm gonna place this right in my waterline. Sometimes I like doing this before I start applying any eyeshadow so that it's a little bit easier to blend. Okay, just stab yourself. Easier to blend into. It also kind of gives you an opportunity to see like how long, like if the eyeliner is actually gonna last and if I need to just go over it with something else, you know, because if it starts to, I was gonna say delete. If it starts to disappear from my waterline, I might want to use something else. Because she's not reliable, you know what I mean? Bear with me, this is not gonna be crazy, I promise. I pinky swear. Dragging that onto the lower lash line a little bit. This is actually a really good eyeliner because it's a little waxy, so it's pretty good for your waterline because it's gonna stick. You know what I mean? It's not like a coal that's gonna like slide around. Okay, so I'm going to now, I'm gonna grab the Odin's Eye Christmas Eve palette. Wait, yes, Christmas Eve palette. This was a gift from Gabby. I think she gave me one last year. She gave me the Christmas palette and the Christmas Eve palette, but this is a fresh one that she just recently gave me. So I'm gonna use this color right here, this kind of like khaki moss green. It's called Just Now. I love this, but look at how pretty it is. It's so beautiful. Ugh. And I'm gonna pick that up on my Sigma E54, which is the small tapered blending brush from my set. This is included in my set with Sigma, so I'm just gonna, ooh, having a hard time focusing, are we? Pick up a little bit of that, slightly angled. And I'm actually going to start this in the very inner corner of my eye. Now I'm learning, because I complained about texture in that video, if you did see it. I'm just, as I get older, I have more texture on my lids. It's a little bit harder for me to do like a sweeping, like back and forth motion. So I'm doing a little bit more of a patting and not dragging, kind of patting and bouncing motion. So packing it in the inner part where I want the most pigment, and then bringing it up to where we place that contour. No, I'm doing this because I've been feeling so desperate for a holiday look, and I was really torn because a lot of people, like, I had a lot of people saying that they wanted to see like a more traditional holiday look, and then I had other people who were saying they wanted to see like something completely different, like not traditional at all. And I was just like, oh, I don't know. But I kind of want to do red and green. I don't know. I feel like in the past I never would have wanted to, but that's what's happening, okay? So I'm gonna pick up that same shade. I'm gonna place it on the outer corner now, closer to the lash line. Kind of soft these shadows are, they're so nice. And I'm gonna do basically the same thing. So I'm just kind of creating like this shape. So I'm creating like a soft, sort of like a soft smoky wing. This is such a good brush for that because it tapers so much. So you can just kind of like pat it down. It blends nicely, and then use the tip to just drag it out. Just like that. So I'm doing 2 passes each of that shadow. Taking it like probably about, I don't know, not quite halfway to my pupil, just before that. And what you can do is just kind of like, you can look straight into your mirror depending on like how you want it to, so that you can see like how it's going to actually like fit on your eye when your eyes are open. And then you can, you know, do a little bit of softening and blending by looking down, if that helps. I'm gonna take this a little bit further. So just slightly blending a little bit more into that contour just above the crease. Just extending a little bit. I just kind of decided that I wanted this like sort of rock star like cat eye. look, so that I'm just kind of making my color choices fit with that shape. It's always better to kind of like start off with like, okay, what shape am I going for? And then go from like mid-tones to dark to light, you know, the way you typically would. All right, using that same brush, just going to focus the shadow on the very tip of it. And I'm gonna run this under, basically like between the contour and that eyeliner as an initial color placement, because I'm gonna do a little bit more. Okay, now I'm gonna go into, oh, where did it go? Oh, it's right here. Lisa Eldridge. All right, this is my favorite of her palettes, Sorcery. You guys have already seen this. I'm gonna grab the gorgeous shimmery dark green color that I love so much. It has just like so, first of all, it just looks like Christmas to me, like 100%, you know? It's just got that, it's got so many nice like flecks in it with like a cool, what looks like almost a teal blue, light blue with that forest, like deep forest green undertone. So I'm gonna use the same brush. I'm just gonna switch it. Did I mention this is in my set as well? And for anybody who's new, anybody who doesn't know, a lot of people were speculating that like a new palette was coming. It's not that, it's a favorite set with Sigma. So you get the switch. You can switch between shades. Hello, we're doing it right now. I'm gonna pick up that green. I'm going to tap it off and give it, I'm actually just gonna give it a mist with Lisa's mist because it's right here. And I'm going to place this just over the first green. So I'm just slowly building up color and everything. Okay, so packing. So I get the most pigment right in that center, and then I'm gonna start patting and dragging. All right, now I'm gonna repeat that in this part, the outer part. So we're just creating layers right now. Okay, now I'm going to grab Mage, this one from the palette. And I'm finally gonna switch it up. I'm gonna grab my Sigma E54, my favorite lid brush. Pick that up. And I'm gonna do the same thing. Okay, maybe make sure that you know which way it's gonna mist before you press it. Just a little rehydration. It's fine. Everything's fine. And I'm gonna place this right in the center. So I'm placing it right in the center and then slowly buffing. So we're going shimmer. We're going shimmer, okay? All over the lid. I want to make sure that I'm hitting those greens so there's no gapping without, you know, covering them up or making things look muddy. So just be careful with your application. And then just gonna fade out. Just making sure there's no gaps. Oh, I'm feeling much better, by the way. Thank you to everybody. Yeah, I sound a lot better, obviously. It took like it's just under 3 weeks, basically, for me to get back to normal, but I'm much better. And I'm sorry to everybody who is also sick. What a hell of a cold season, you know what I mean? Start to drag, and as you feel it start to dry, then you can start buffing. I mean, you can do what you want, but that's my process. That's such a great, this is such a great silver because there's like, it's more of a warm silver. It's got kind of like a taupey vibe, you know, where it's got some warm reflect in it. So it's not gonna end up looking too cool toned on your skin, even though it is a very like cool toned in comparison shade. It's going to be very, very flattering. I guess we'll go into the lower lash line. So I'm going to grab the little Pro Shadow 15 brush. This is from Sephora collection. And I'm going to go in, I'm just going to use the same, whatever this one is called, the forest green situation. So I'm going to pick it up, tap it in, tap it off. Missed it. Not my face. Hello. Thank you. And then pat, 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 pat. Pat, 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 pat. Pat and drag. Okay. And now that it's starting to dry, now I'm buffing. And I just want to make sure that I'm meeting the, where's my humidifier? Make sure that I'm meeting the smoky wing. So gorge. The shimmer of the Lisa Eldridge palettes is so fantastic. I feel, I always feel guilty using them just because they're so luxe, you know? Like I just want to save them. I do that with everything though. Save something for a special occasion, then you just never end up wearing it, you know? So stupid. Enjoy what you've got. All right, EO6 brush. This is also included in my Sigma set. This is the winged eyeliner brush. I love this for precision. Okay, look how tiny it is. It's the tiniest little guy. So I'm gonna use shadow. I love using this especially for shadow. So I'm gonna use this shade from Lisa's palette, which is, it kind of looks black. I don't know if you can tell. It's a very, 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 very dark forest green. Also with a little bit of like a almost gold satin to it. Tap the tip of my brush in there. And I'm gonna start here from my, an extension from my inner corner. Just a teeny little bit. Okay, just a little guy. If I do too much, because my eyes are like kind of close together, it can look crazy. So feel free to take this in as far as you want or make it as long as you want. But I just like to basically sharpen that inner corner. Okay, and then I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna pick that up and from my outer corner, just above the actual like end of, see where it goes down like that, my lash line, going just above. I'm gonna extend, just kind of fade it into the smoke we already have going on. So I'm using the smoky, like thick smoky wing that we created with the small tapered blending brush as a guide for where I want this to go. Perfect, see, so just like underneath. Okay, just above. And dragging out. And then I'm just gonna ever so slightly thicken. I'm gonna bring this into the lash line a little bit. Thicken up just this part, like right out here. You just wanna make sure that you're not leaving any gaps between products or colors. So you just kinda wanna make sure that you're going back and forth and making sure that things are kind of like blending together, they're all working together. Nothing looks like a harsh line, you know? Or like completely out of place. Like you just stuck something down for no reason. When in doubt, blend. Doesn't really matter what color you're using or what you're doing with it. If it's blended, it's gonna look good. All right, I'm gonna switch that. Switch it, switch it. And then, speaking of Sigma, I'm gonna use their gel eyeliner. This is just in black, and I'm gonna pick up like the tiniest amount. So I'm gonna pick up a little bit from the container, and And then I always like to use the cap to make sure I'm not picking up too much. And I'm going to just like literally in the center of those shadows. Like I'm not covering it. I'm making my application even more like localized, even more, I was gonna say petite. Whatever, petite works. We're making it petite. So I'm just creating a tiny bit more contrast right in the very center, and I'm gonna do the same thing, not the whole wing, just on the outer part of my lash line. So very, very, very close to the lash line. I'm using this because it offers so much precision. I'm just using this to add extra definition and contrast at my lash line. I'm just barely gonna take it halfway. Kind of like in place of tight lining. My mirror is just too far away, so I had to get like up close and personal. So I'm just kind of like, as I get to the wing, I'm just kind of tapping so that it's, you know, again, not disconnected. All right, I'm gonna do some curling with my Velour Lash Curler. And then I'm gonna go in with my Clio Kill Lash Super Proof Long Curling Mascara. Okay, eyes done, eyes done. Let's do a little bit to the rest of the face. So I'm going to finish off my cheeks. Guess what I'm gonna use? I'm gonna use the blush that we mixed. If you missed that, I'll link it up here. I mixed a custom blush recently. This is not Tatcha. So I'm gonna use, it's kind of like almost a terracotta peachy pink kind of color. But I'm actually going to mix it with a little bit of ColourPop's Flamingo, which might seem kind of crazy, but that's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna basically just like tap back and forth. And I'm gonna use my Make Beauty powder brush. I've been loving this for blush. So tapping into the one I've mixed, a little bit into Flamingo, back and forth, that's how we do. Tapping it off. Focusing it up high on the apple of the cheek. I can't just use one product, even if I mixed it myself. I have to mix it with other things, okay? I feel like adding the Flamingo pink just kind of creates a little bit, I don't know. I just wanted to customize. I feel like it complements that green so much more. All right, I'm gonna mist my face with some all-nighter setting spray. Fan, where's the fan, where's the fan? And I wanted to use the setting spray because I'm gonna use a cream highlight. So I'm gonna use Katie Jane Hughes's brand. This is a KHJ brand in light gold. So she has, I think I used this in a video already, but the light. So she has like cream highlights that also come with a gloss, so you can kind of customize the formula. So I'm going to put a little bit of this on the back of my hand. Just scooping it out with my nail. Back of the hand. And then I'm gonna put a teeny bit of gloss out. A little bit more. Okay, so it's somewhere between like a, no, it's pretty glossy. I was gonna say between a serum and a gloss. It's definitely glossy. And then I'm just going to take a teeny bit of the gloss and mix it back into the cream highlight. Ooh. And then I'm gonna grab the sponge that I applied my foundation with. I'm gonna pick that up and pat that on the tops of the cheekbones. It is glossy, so I'm not gonna take it everywhere. I'm just gonna pat it right over that blush. Just there. Okay, isn't that pretty? So it just adds a healthy glow. I wanna make sure, because the blush was a little matte, I just wanna make sure, since the eyes are so shimmery, that the whole look doesn't end up looking like really matte. Bring a little life and glow back to the cheeks. All right, obviously this is like kind of a statement eye, even though we're not wearing falsies or anything, it's still like kind of a rocker kind of look, you know? So you could just like do a little bit of neutral lip liner, maybe a shimmery gloss, or just a regular gloss, or just keep them nude. But I'm gonna do red. We're gonna do it. All right, so I'm gonna blot my lips to start. And I'm gonna go in with MAC Whirl first to line and define. Oh, you can't even see it, sorry. Just covering it up. And then I'm gonna go in with a little bit of MAC Stone. God, it's getting so gloomy out. It was nice before, for like a second. And I'm gonna do a little extra contouring. Dominique Cosmetics came out with these lip and cheek stains. This is the Pillow Soft Hydrating Lip and Cheek Stain. This one is in the shade Satin Rouge. So I'm actually going to use this. So I'm gonna start off with this in the center. Ooh, is that too orange? It's a little orange. Start in the center. And then I'm just gonna use the applicator to blend into the lip liner. And then I'm gonna go in with the Rougher 21 brush and a teeny bit of my foundation. Just make sure that this area isn't dark. I'm just gonna go back in with a Whirl for a little bit of touching up that you won't be able to see because I got it real close. All right guys, here is a close-up of the finished look. How do we feel? All right, listen, I know we did red and green. I know we did red and green, but I actually really love the way that it turned out. I used a bunch of products that I like have been wanting to try for a really long time, and also just like use for a really long time. I always love revisiting Lisa Eldridge. Her stuff is just so incredible, and I'd also been really wanting to use the Dominique Cosmetics lip and cheek stains on my lips. So I love the way that this looks. It's really dimensional and pretty, but also kind of like soft, not too much. It's not too harsh, especially because it's glossy. And even though the eyes are definitely like a statement, they're still very, very light. Like there just isn't a ton of product, and because I'm not wearing falsies, it's not like overly done, you know? I hope you guys enjoyed. If you are interested, I do have a favorite set with Sigma. It's back here. I'll have everything linked down below. I believe it's on sale right now. Like I think Sigma is just having like a big sale, so that's a bonus. But if you've been needing eye brushes, and also if you're sick of wasting paper towels, wiping your brushes off between use, it includes, let me just show you all of them really quick before we go, because I don't think I did that. So it includes the E45 brush right here, the small tapered blending, the E06 brush, which was the little guy that we used for the extension and the wing, my E54, my absolute fave in terms of packing shadow on the lid, and also the E80 brush, which is covered in soap because it's what I use to set my brows, but it's a spoolie, so you can use it for like combing out your lashes, all that kinds of stuff. And then also the travel switch, which you don't have to just use to switch between shades, but you can also use it to wash your brushes. So yeah, anyway, that'll be linked down below. thank you for watching, everybody. I hope all of you who were sick are feeling much, much better. And I just highly appreciated all of your comments on that ridiculously long video. If you missed it, it's up here. If you want to watch it, whatever, blah, blah, blah. It's holidays, all the things, all the season stuff and sparkle. And I'll see you in the next one, dude. Hopefully. Bye. Ooh, stays nice. Ooh, pretty. It blots nicely. That's a bonus for, like, I don't know, holiday meals and stuff, you know? Lip stain. Just saying.